Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's subscribed to my channel so far. It means a lot, and I've been reading all your lovely comments, and I try to reply. If I haven't replied to somebody's comment, then I apologise. Today I'm going to set myself a challenge. I'm just going to use one paper pad. This is a well-used paper pad. I don't even know where I got it from. It might even have been from a charity shop. I don't know. But all I'm going to use is this paper pad. I'm not going to use any dies. And it's all going to be panels, basically. So I'll get a few things together and then we'll get going. Right, the first thing I'm going to do is make a mat layer. And I've got my card base underneath. Make sure it's opening the way you want it, just in case it's not quite square, which mine never are. So I want to make a little border around the edge. So I'm just going to put this up into the corner so I've got the two edges, and then I'm going to mark there. So I've got a little border. If I cut down there, I've got a little border coming down here, and then I'm going to mark around there, and I'll have a little border coming along there. So I'm going to go and cut this with my paper trimmer. So that's my mat layer. I've taken out the middle. I've just literally gone in with my trimmer and trimmed around the middle, just so the card's not too bulky, because it's going to be a few layers on here. So that piece is going to go on there. I always mark on the top a T, because my cards are never square, like I say. So then I know which way that will go onto my card. Next, I want another white piece, a white matting layer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to have a little border again, like that. I'm going to mark where I want to cut. And down there, make sure the border is even to start with. That's about right, so I want it about there, about there. So I'll get that cut. Right, so that's my next layer. I've taken out the middle again. So that's going to go on like that, with a nice little border. Right, next I want to take some of this paper with the lovely trees on, nice peachy colour, and I want to do the same. I'm going to leave a little border around there. You know how I do it, mark it, cut it. So I'll get this piece cut. Right, so I've got my card base, I've got my first mat layer, I've got my second mat layer with the middles cut out, and then I've got this one with the lovely trees. But I'm not going to cut the middle out of this one, and I've left a little bit more of a border, a bit more white showing. So that's going to go on there. So you can see how this is building up. The next thing I'm going to do, I want a smaller panel to go on to this piece here. Sort of more this end. Sort of about that wide, I suppose. Something like that. With a small border going down the bottom. So what I'll do is cut that down there and there. Mark it off. I might adjust this as I go, but just as a guide, I'm just going to cut that out first. Right, so that's that piece cut out. So that'll leave me a nice little border going around this end. I'm not worried about this side, but what I want to do first is I want a grey layer on this piece, like this one here, a matting layer. So I'm going to get a little grey layer cut, so it's got a nice little grey border. Right, I've cut the middle out of this piece as well. So that's my little matting layer for that. Nice little border. If you've got any pencil marks from where you've put your pencil, just rub them out. So that's like that, and that's going to go on, like I say, over here. The little border is going to be quite slightly smaller border now. Now I've put that underneath. So that's going to go something like that. Right, next I want another panel over the side, but slightly smaller. And I want it out of the polar bears, which is this paper. So I want a little panel just of the polar bear, one of the polar bears, but I want them facing this way. So literally I want to cut around a polar bear like this one here. or this one here. I could do this one here actually. So I just want to cut him out in a nice rectangle. So I'll get him cut out. So there he is. It's my little polar bear. I purposely picked a paper with a big image. So I thought he's quite a nice little image to be on the card. You'll see why in a minute. But I want a matting layer for this as well in the grey. So I'm going to cut another matting layer like this one. I'm going to cut it out in grey. So he's got a nice little border around as well. So there we go. That's my little border for that one. And he's going to go on around there. I'll just bring my card down. I just realised you can't see properly. So he's going to go on about there on my card. But what I want to do is I want to cut a strip of card out to go underneath him out of the grey. So I'll get that cut and then you'll see what I mean then. So let me go and get a strip of card cut. Right, I've cut out the strip of card. I have used a die for this, only so I've got the stitching, but you can just cut it on your trimmer. And what I've done, let me move all these, is I've made sure that it reaches end to end on the first grey bit of matting layer, like that. Okay. But now what I want to do is I want a smaller piece to go inside this. And the paper I'm going to use for that is, so this is all out the same pad. I'm going to use this with the snow, just because it says let it snow, let it snow, let it snow, all over that. Yeah, it's just let it snow. Right, so that's that piece cut out, and that's going to fit on there like that. The next thing I'm going to do, I cut out this bear, didn't I? Well, I want this image again, but I just want the bear. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fussy cut one of these bears out, facing the same way. So I'm going to cut this little bear out. Right, so there's my little polar bear. I mean, how cutesy. This is why I picked, I think I said, didn't I? That's why I picked this paper pad, because it has got a paper. One of the papers has got big images on, which are easy to fussy cut out. And I stuck some little bits of card underneath just to make it a bit sturdier. I just pieced it together, and then I've put some foam pads on just so he stands up. Okay, and I think that's it for the cutting out. It seems a lot, but once you start going and get it all done, this card comes together really quick. Now it's time to put this card together. So I want my card opening tent fold, like that. I'll just check, I've put my T up the top there, so I know that's the top of my first matting layer, which is this grey. So I'm just going to be using some tacky glue. Somebody asked me what glue I use, and let me get the bottle out. Wrong drawer. This is what I use. Cheap and cheerful, but it does the job. High tack, all purpose, very sticky glue. So that's all I use. I get mine from the range when they've got it. It's about £3 something. Yeah, I don't bother with all these different glues, and I do use my hot glue obviously, and this one here, but that's basically it. So let's get this one stuck down. Right, now I've forgotten where the top is. Haha. That way. Right, just stick it on with a nice even border. Like that. So that's your first piece on. Right, the next piece was another piece of white. I've got my T, so I know that's the top. Just double check. Yeah, that's fine. And that one's going to go on top of that one. Oops. Get an even border. This glue grabs quite quick. You have got a little bit of time to sort of move it. Not long, but you can sort of move it slightly. I mean, I can't move that now. Oh, yes, I can, just slightly. I put enough on so I could move it. So that's that piece. So I've got a nice little grey border. But the next piece is going to be this lovely peach colour with the trees on. I've already put some glue on around the edge. And then that bit's going to go like that with a nice little border around again. So that's that piece. And the next bit is going to be this bigger rectangle. Let it snow. So layer that one on there, leaving a nice little border. You don't have to use these borders, but I just think it finishes, when you're making like a special card, it just finishes it off a little bit better. So that's that one. So I'll put that one over there a minute and just wipe up this glue. And now we've got our little polar bear. So he's going to go onto this grey piece here. I mean, if you're new to card making, this probably looks a bit daunting, but it is really simple once you get used to layering up your pieces. If you want to do this card, just play the video step by step and follow it. So that's it done. And now I want to put the snow flakes or snow dots onto this grey piece, a little banner. I'm just going to place that in the middle there. Same thing, nice even border. Just wipe off any glue that you might get oozing out. That's the only thing with this glue. I will say it can dry shiny. Oh, pulling off some of the paper there. It's okay, it's a bit distressed anyway, so it won't make any difference. There. So that's that piece. Right, the next piece I'm going to put on is this one here. And that's going to go over this side. I'm going to put it so I've got a nice little even border on the three sides. So it's slightly over this way, slightly to the left. And that's going to go on there. Next piece is going to be this piece, my little banner. I think what I'll do is I'll cut a couple of strips actually. Just to go on the ends there. This is just the card that I use for my card bases and that. Just because I've got so many different layers, this will just lift it up a little bit. You don't have to do this, I'm just being fussy. Just want to cut a little layer like that just to lift it up a bit. I might need another one. No, that's going to be fine. It just brings it up a bit. If you can you see, because I've got so many layers, this is a lot higher. Getting glue everywhere now. This is where I'll ruin my card. So just putting those two little strips will help bring it up a bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on my grid so I know where the middle is, which is here on this line here, because I want this in the middle of my card. I'm just going to place that across the card. Try and get it in the middle. Like that. So that's that piece. Right, next for this panel here, I've put some foam pads on the back. So I want this raised up a little bit. And I'm going to put him, I'm going to try and get that border there the same over this side. So same sort of distance of the peach paper there. Make sure these two are the same on the Let It Snow paper. So around there, make sure it's straight. That's about right. So yeah, I've got him raised up a little bit. It's the first bit that I've put up on any foam pads. For my little polar bear, like I said earlier, I put some foam pads on the back and some cardboard just to make him a bit sturdier. And he's going to go directly over the other polar bear. So try and match him up. Like that. Just so he stands up off the page. So he's going to go on like that. The last thing I've done, I've made a sentiment. I've stamped it in Memento grey flannel because I thought it matched the card quite well, the grey card. And I've just put Happy Christmas. And I think I'm going to pop that down there in the corner like that. I've put it on some grey, so I've got a nice grey layer there as well. So I might just stick it down in this corner. Try to get it off the edge even each side here. So that looks about right. So that's it's done. Oh, I did cut out a little one of these polar bears on the edge and I stuck him inside in there because I thought he looked cute. So that's it, that's my finished card. That's what you can do with no dies and just one paper pad. Just mix and match your papers and find something with quite a big easy image to cut out, and you can stick them on like that and then do what I've done, put some inside to match. I will print something in here or stamp something in here when I find something suitable. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love it if you could subscribe to my channel, like the video, comment down below if you want to comment, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. See you later. Bye.